It's a ripoff.
I think I got the wrong house.
Discover Texas.
Saturdays from 6 to 8 p.m. Central. Worldwide on KZFM.org.
I want to tell you about Texas radio and the Big B.
All right, you guys. Live radio. Discover Texas is here, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. That was Pariah. I'm feeling bloody and bruised at this point. See the connection there?
I do.
I have some guests in the studio today, as well as passing by traffic. We are at kzsm.org, and we happen to be just off the square in San Marcos, Texas. So if you are in the area and tuning in live, go ahead and stop on by and say hi. We'd love to see you. But for now, I am here with my guest in the studio, October Sunday, who kicked off the show tonight, and they wrote a song about me. It's called "Are You Crazy?"
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's exactly
Totally.
what it was. So if you stick around, you'll be hearing me discuss some old school stuff with my friend Dana and Eric, and we'll be talking about their music and what's going on in the world of October Sunday. So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't told a friend, I suggest you do that. And we are here every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. live at kzsm.org, and then the podcast goes up, and there's some Vimeo stuff that pops up, things like that. We do have live music, which you'll find later on Vimeo today from Bear Ryan, so y'all stick around. Power Pack Show today, Power Pack Show. But as I mentioned, October Sunday is here. You may have heard them on the show. We played a version of Stand Back that they did recently, and they're here to discuss what's going on in the world of October Sunday. How you guys doing, Dana and Eric?
Yes. Good.
Right.
Thanks so much for having us.
Absolutely. It's something that I felt like I needed to do since we go so far back in doing this sort of thing.
As we identified earlier, 30 years back.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's right at about the 30-year mark.
Wow.
When were you playing at the back room? Like, what year was that?
95.
And yeah. Cool. So it was such a weird thing that we did back then. Like from one thing at the studio, we both,
Right.
Dana and I, were involved with cable access on many levels, sometimes together, sometimes apart.
Yep.
And Eric was definitely in the back room rock and roll scene, and I think we've all taken advantage of nickel beer or 25-cent
Yes.
drinks and stuff. So.
10-cent wells.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And somewhat recently, Dana and I got a shot at the pole,
Yes.
the surviving pole.
The surviving pole.
And that was because of Boudreaux and all those good people putting
Yeah.
together the new movie for Bloody and Bruised Backroom Story. Huh?
Which I do have a B-roll part in.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got to go down there and shoot some, because I lent them a shirt that they needed for it that I actually happened to have all these years. And so they're like, hey, come on down. And so I came down there and got to do some B-roll. I won't tell you what I did, but it was super fun.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I had some of the shirts, but they were a little bigger than they were looking for.
I was surprised that I still fit into the one that...
I think I have you. I don't. Did you do the Quentin and shirt?
I did.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So I have one of those. I had it in my hand last week. Actually,
Oh,
I
wow.
was moving some stuff around.
Okay, so there's more than just one out there. That's
yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah. Shut up and drink.
Yep.
Yeah.
Memories, and everybody at home's going, what?
That's okay. This is for you and me.
It's for you. We don't care. We don't care if you know what's going on.
That's right. So October Sunday
Yeah.
has been a project for how long, guys?
Probably since 2018.
Yeah.
So Stonecracker, our band, previously ended in 2017. Well, I guess it ended once in 2003.
Facts.
And it ended the second time in 2017. And then we've been working on October Sunday ever since. Kind of just going at our own pace. It's been nice. I mean, we've been playing in the scene since 95. So it's been nice to kind of sit back and finally do the things you've wanted to do, and that you love to do, and it's been quite a growing experience, even just for me, because I've gotten to work on my voice, I've gotten to work on my guitar playing. I just started programming and engineering stuff, so it's really been a very cool trip over the last 4 years, for sure.
Absolutely, and it's one of those things that, as far as what I can see you guys doing, it's kind of knocking that old card you had in the playbook out of there and going with this new one, not only from a musical sound angle, but the whole experience. You guys aren't necessarily gravitating to a live touring project, I
Correct.
don't assume, and you've had time to sit and polish your songs, write your songs, be comfortable with it, practice your technique, instead of like, man, it's beer tickets at 10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exact. I don't really necessarily miss that.
No.
And
Amen.
I also don't miss lugging my gear to shows. I also
All
don't
your
miss,
pedals.
Yeah, which I've gotten rid of quite a few of them, but I still use some. But it's really been nice from that. I'm not saying that we won't play live. We may do some actually next year. But it's been nice just to take time and not feel rushed about it, and you not go, okay, we need to do this song real quickly, get it out there and go. I mean, there was such a quickness to everything that I think that can take away from some of the musicality sometimes.
A lot of bands get into a vicious circle where you are performing your set or sets, depending on your gig. You are practicing that set or sets, you are booking gigs, and the only time you can go write music is when it's like you realize, we didn't record anything in a long time, let's do that now.
Right.
And then you practice the new set, and it's kind of a vicious circle sometimes, and as much as being a live music fan, I do love to see the bands that have perfected that live set. I could tell you probably half a dozen of them that would come to mind first. I'd kind of give up some of those live gigs to be able to hear a little more new music from them.
Yeah.
So it's good to do it at your own pace, regardless. Not a matter of just stacking tons of new music, but being a little more comfortable about the situation you're writing in.
Yeah, finding a love for it again too. I mean, I think after that again, it's like, especially for me and my standpoint with this, one of the things I really wanted was to get back to me and not be the afterthought. Because a lot of the other music that went into everything was what everybody worked on, including myself, all the time. And then, okay, Dana, do the vocals now. Okay, done. You know what I mean? So I just felt like an afterthought, like a lot of times with the music. And so it's really been nice to just cultivate and find my voice again.
That's awesome.
I can hear it from the first track we released is October Sunday to Stand Back, and my voice has evolved.
Absolutely.
And so what's really weird is going back and practicing the old songs and realizing that now I have to kind of sing them in the voice that's evolved.
Yeah. Hey, it's growth, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
So as a band playing, I hate tags. I don't know if you're
Sure.
comfortable with electronic music or whatever you might want to refer to it as. Tags are really boxy. I don't like that. But this type of music, Eric has gotten... I got to watch my words because I'm not going to fence you in here. I want to say challenge as a live bass player, because this music a lot of times is keyboards for bass. And so how do you feel in a position where you're writing this music and being a live bass player, and of course having come from, as we talked about, backroom metal stuff and all that kind of thing, and it's very traditional to have a bass player. You're going to be lost without one.
It's
bass
different.
In electronic is a little rare.
Yeah, it's different, and the things that we're doing. I am playing the live bass on these tracks, but at a live show it would probably all be keyboard. But on the recording, I do continue to play an actual bass. But some of the keyboards are also helping out to make that sound a little bit bigger, to where. It kind of adds a different feel to it.
Yeah.
So you've got the keyboard bass, and then you have the regular bass, underneath it or on top of it, and it kind of gives it a different sound.
Has it made you think about like what you write any differently, and your performance and like taste in general? Do you see it as a different thing, or is it?
I'm able to do, a lot more. I think when writing for live, I'm writing also for a show. You know, I don't want to do something that is going to hinder the show when, you know, something simple would work.
Right on.
You know, so, but in something like this, I can sit in a quiet room with the cans on and go, you know, this sounds really, really good here, and I'm not going to be doing that live, so I can record it.
Love it. That's great. The music sounds great. We did play this track, Stand Back, we're going to play now, last week, and I thought it was awesome. How did you come about choosing this tune?
This is very interesting. We spent a lot of time in the summer times in our pool, and we listened to 80s rock and 80s metal.
You like 80s, Dana?
No. Never. I don't know where anybody would get that idea.
You have any Gene Loves Joseph stories?
Oh, do I? Do I wish I still had that video? A little bit.
I think I have.
Do you think you have it? Oh my God. Okay, we can talk about that later. Okay. So we were trying to come. I thought it was just time to do a cover. Sometimes, honestly, a cover is what brings people sometimes to your music a little bit more. And I thought, okay, well, obviously we need to do something. We are an electro rock synth pop kind of band. We need to let's go for something 80s. We went through a gamut of 80s rock, and two of the ones we almost one we started. And here's the funny thing. I'll go ahead and say what it was. We actually almost did In the Dark. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so the funny thing about that is, and why we had to drop it, and I read something online why we're having such a hard time, is that actually he did not use a click track with that song. And
He was all over the place.
It was all over the place, and trying to get the different pieces to line up and everything was just going crazy. It was going good. It would have been really cool had we been able to, but it was like, okay, this is not working.
So Billy Squire can't count.
Billy Squire was up and down more than you realize he was. And then I think the other one was "Kiss Me Deadly" by Lita Ford. I think was another one we were thinking of. But then
We talked about a lot in the pool with drinks.
we were yes. But then I just kept coming back to Stevie Nicks and Stand Back. I think when I was younger, she was like a really huge role model.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, when we got to the belladonna phase of things. That's when I was really starting to be, you know, really tuned in at that point with music. And I always sang along with her albums. And I really just thought that, you know, she was a big, heavy influence on me. And I thought, well, what better to do? And then that song is, I mean, come on, the synths go for it. I think there's like 12 synth tracks on our song. I mean, because there's so many little nuanced parts that you don't realize until you're trying to listen to it and pick it apart. And it was almost at that point, because it does rock, it was almost like throwing fish in a barrel at that point. Like
Nice.
it was almost, the stars aligned.
Awesome.
It came together so quickly, and the best part about it is my keyboard actually had that, you know, that opening modulating bass.
Yeah.
Like I was able to do that, and I was like, this is it. This
that's
is
so cool.
this has got to be it. So
The feel.
But you know, sometimes you do get a little worried that this is an iconic person. This isn't like, you know, Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac, and you wonder what the reception's going to be to it, and the reception has been nothing short of phenomenal.
And she's clearly very relevant to this day, going to do those shows with Billy Joel coming up.
Oh, I know. I saw. We may have to go to that.
Oh, there's one Texas show, if I'm not
Yeah, it's
mistaken.
in Arlington.
It's in Arlington. I know. So I'm thinking heavily. I know.
Man, tempting. I've been lucky enough to see her a lot, but I've never seen Billy Joel.
So you really should go. Then.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Well, we'll be back, you guys.
Sure.
Stay tuned. It's October Sunday here on Discover Texas, and we're going to play Stand Back. Y'all hang out. We'll have some more. our guests in the studio were right before Natchez Taylor, October Sunday with Stand Back, the Stevie Nicks Classic. So thanks for showing up today and hanging out on Discover Texas, guys.
Our pleasure. This has been great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We were discussing during the break there a little bit about all the work that goes into a song like that. And while on the surface, you know, you've heard, most of us have heard that song through our life, and it's just you hear.
That's the part everybody knows.
And yeah, but there's so many layers,
Yeah.
and like you guys nailed that.
Thank
And
you.
took out
Thank
the
you.
little the nuances and stuff. Like all of it was there. So
It was crazy. It was crazy just sitting there figuring it out, like listening to it backwards and forwards. And we actually borrowed heavily from a live version she did, where you can hear a lot more of the things going on. She also changed the lyrics slightly, which we also did. But there's things also we did on keyboard that were little guitar solo parts.
Yeah.
And so it was really fun getting to play around with that and getting different sounds. Like just for that main part, that, you know, the dun, 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 we decided to go with a different sound for that. Like that was something that was a little bit more October Sunday and fit us. We left the modulating bass part like it was because that is too classic. You do not want to mess with the Prince right there because that's what that was.
and
But
the bass instead of guitar.
yeah, and
thing,
and that bass solo in the middle was a guitar solo. So
yeah. It's really impressive.
you.
Waddy Wattel was her guitar player.
Yes,
and that
still
dude
is.
still
Yeah.
jamming. That's insane. What a guy. I've seen him
Yeah.
play with Joe Walsh and all sorts of folks. He's a great musician.
yeah,
So-
absolutely. He's a favorite of mine as well. Like so that was really fun too, just watching what he's, because they did a video of the live show too, and just watching him play that, and you know, kind of just seeing what was going on, and
Yeah.
you know, watching everybody's hands on the keyboard.
Oh, and he's kind of like a band leader type, if I'm
Absolutely,
not mistaken. He's
absolutely,
yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of her success is not to say, I mean, she wouldn't have found it another way, but he's definitely guided that.
Absolutely.
So, as far as live music, we were talking about going out and seeing some, and you guys have been kind of like, sounds like about the same speed as me, creeping out here and there, going and see some live music. What's some of the highlights for you guys so far since we're not freaking out about the pandemic?
Well, we have yet to go see any local, which
Yeah.
you know that could be happening sooner than later, because like we got a lot of friends. You know, there is a very strong goth and electric scene here, and we have friends who were doing what we were doing back in the day. People who are in bands who are friends who now have electronic bands, which is really crazy. So, you know, our friends in Dread Risks and the Shadow Fashion from San Antonio, and so I mean we got a lot of friends here that I've yet to see and that I would like to see, but we've been kind of like doing the big ones.
Yeah,
So
sure.
we saw Daryl Hall.
Oh, I was so close.
Which was
classic,
so good.
though.
That's classic. We saw Evanescence and Hailstorm with Plush opening. We saw Psychedelic Furs.
That's so cool.
We're going to see Goo Goo Dolls
Saw
on
the
the
Killers.
14th. We saw the Killers and Johnny Marr,
Johnny
which
Marr.
was
Yeah.
Johnny Marr. Anybody who's a Smiths fan, you will not miss Morrissey. Johnny Marr does some of the best Smiths songs, and he sings them.
He is a writer like nobody's
Yes,
business, that's
and
for sure.
that show was just I swear I was like my 14-year-old self,
Oh,
like
yeah.
watching Johnny Marr, and I mean the Killers obviously were
Oh,
fantastic,
Sure. Right.
but honestly I just can't say enough about that show. I know I'm probably missing some others too.
I feel like I've been back to my youth recently too. I mean, out in the hot spot in Cedar Park, I saw Faster Pussycat,
Oh,
Tom Kiefer,
I'm sad I missed that show.
and L.A. Guns,
Yes.
who were on fire.
Yes.
Yeah, and-
You remember last time I saw LA Guns?
Well, I don't think I remember. I might have to look at notes. I was usually kind of inebriated.
That was when we opened for him.
Oh yeah. That's right. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's right. Wow.
With my favorite story about Tracy Guns coming out of his tour bus in his Simpsons pajamas.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Is he
gosh.
Simpsons pajamas
so,
guy.
Was it? He said it was cold in here, right?
Yeah,
So we were.
the only thing he said was, "It's cold in here."
Do you think it's cold in here?
And
It's
it
cold in
was.
here.
It was freezing in there.
That's really odd because the night before the Austin show, it was too hot in Texas for him to play. So
I
he
know.
played in the bathroom.
I heard about that.
Yeah,
That
Texas is hardcore for the weather switch.
Yeah, and I don't know if he
had
was
that
at that
AC
time though.
cranked. It was freezing in there.
Damn,
And so he gets off the tour bus in these Simpson pajamas,
that's great.
walks in, looks around, looks at me and Eric, goes, "It's cold in here. Do you guys think it's cold in here?" And just walks back out the door.
We couldn't even answer. He just
What do you say?
All of a sudden, I'm like, Tracy Guns is asking me if it's cold in here. What do I do?
I just talked about the temperature with Tracy Guns. All right, cool. How about that? Yeah, he's doing so much. I mean, I've seen him up and down over the years, and today the band is amazing.
They do, and their new albums are too.
Yeah.
I encourage anybody. The new Skid Row's good, and the new LA Guns is good. A lot of our old favorites from back in the day are putting out great, fantastic, superb, even new music. I mean,
I'll throw that down for Armored Saint.
yeah,
Saw them last night.
absolutely.
Yep.
It's so good, and I hate. Okay, I'm gonna say it. So right before the pandemic hit in New Year's Eve in Las Vegas, we saw Journey. We're gonna go see Journey again, and their new album is fantastic.
Is it?
Absolutely.
I should check that out. I'd
It
rather
really
hear him
is.
sing new stuff than what's going on.
Yeah,
I
and
get
he
it.
does he does a great job, and the new stuff is so good. Like, I'm actually excited to see some of it live.
That's awesome.
So-
They put on a great live show. I mean, who that is a Journey fan would not say, frankly, they want to hear Steve Perry? Who would not?
Right.
But still, we get what we get, and he's an amazing vocalist.
Yes.
So there is more music from October Sunday coming up. If you just tuned in, they're my guests for the first hour today on Discover Texas. We are on kzsm.org every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m., and you can find it online. I'm not hard to find. There is a Facebook page. I personally am on everything. TikTok. I'll even stick around Twitter till they run me off, I guess. I don't know. I've been sending him nasty messages he hasn't replied to.
Do you have your blue check?
I'm not going to pay for blue check.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm.
I don't
important
have
enough
one.
to,
Yeah, I don't
so-
even have a blue check, but
I want to sign up as somebody and pay for a blue check. Maybe that'll be. I'm
take
Elvis
somebody else's
Presley.
Twitter handle.
So, yeah. But yeah, the point being, this digital means of supporting bands is something that is one of the only outlets that fans have for music, in my opinion,
Yep.
in the world. And you're getting play on stations. You
Yeah.
throw anything out. The stations you're getting played on.
Oh yeah, and it's in Fargo, North Dakota.
Yeah, we were just talking about internet radio in general, college radio. We've got a great one of those here. There's ways to support bands. It's a weird day and age where the business of music is no longer relevant.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people with podcasts. I gotta give a shout out to Synthentral because they always premiere, things. I always ask because sometimes I don't know if it's right for the show. He does very synth heavy music, and so far he's always been like, yes, this is great. And so I got to say, thanks to Blair and Synthentral for always premiering our stuff. They premiered, Stand Back, and that reaches tons of people, every week on their show.
Have you reached out to Darkest Before Dawn on Co-op?
I haven't, and
Yeah.
I need to,
Yeah.
and I haven't. Yes, I will do that.
There you
Absolutely.
go. That's where I want to hear it.
Yeah, nice. I'll tell him that.
Yeah, they're great people.
Yes,
guys.
absolutely.
Anyhow, October Sunday, right here. This is a song, Better Hurt Than Hollow. I might make you talk about it when we come back.
Okay.
You tried to tell me how to live my life. I may have listened for quite some time. Figured this all out. I need you to know I'm working it out. Now let you go. I need relief and I need it quick. You're contagious prescription to follow. I'm better hurt than hollow. Your bottle's empty, I've a bitter pill to swallow. I'm better hurt than hollow. Chaos and darkness is like an infection that somehow took your soul. And now I'm done, you never face it. Thinking that's secure, you'll end up on your own. And that's for sure. I need relief and I need it quick. You're contagious and I feel sick. No diagnosis or prescription to follow. I'm better hurt than hollow. Your bottle's empty, I've a bitter pill to swallow. I'm better hurt than hollow. I didn't think I could do this. The remedy's found and I'll fix this. No diagnosis or prescription to follow. I'm better hurt than hollow. The bottle's empty, I've a bitter pill to swallow. I'm better hurt than hollow, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Better hurt than hollow, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Better hurt than hollow.
What is the future hold for you guys? These tracks, what's that from? What's going on?
Okay, well, what does the future hold?
I don't know.
Like to get out the. I don't know. He's looking at me going, so what does the
Yeah,
future
I'd
hold?
like to
What
know
are we
that
doing
too.
with that? You know, who was it? A clown from Slipknot's talking about like they're not going to do albums anymore. They're just all about doing singles.
Singles, which
Yeah.
that's the way of the world, right? Which that could be us as well. Right now, it's just wrapped up. I mean, I'm still doing stuff for this release, but now it's time to kind of let the creativity flow and see where it starts to take us. Maybe another EP, definitely a few singles, and maybe some live streams and playing a little bit. So
That'd be fun, huh?
I'm thinking 2023 is going to be pretty fun, pretty creative, and we've actually been playing around with the idea of redoing Death from
Stonecracker.
Wow.
Stonecracker,
Yeah,
because
about
that actually, people don't know this, but that should have been an October Sunday song. We were going to start October Sunday in 2013. I unfortunately broke my wrist.
Yeah.
And then right after that, the whole Stonecracker thing kind of happened. So Death was actually meant to be, when I wrote it, it was writing the lyrics and stuff like that, it was supposed to actually be an October Sunday song. And we expect, the way that I'm kind of working on it right now, that it's going to be a lot different than people remember it.
Sure.
So,
That's got to be fun.
yeah, no, that is pretty neat to be able to reimagine a song like that
Oh, yeah.
and give it back to its original purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. So as far as social media, what is the best way to find October Sunday?
Most likely Facebook.
Yeah.
So October Sunday ATX. We are on YouTube. We are on Instagram also, October Sunday ATX. You can find us in those two places.
Good deal. Any downloadable material? Are you doing Spotify?
Oh yeah,
things?
everywhere, streaming platforms everywhere.
Nice.
Also Bandcamp. So that's
Yep.
kind of like the main page for everybody now. You don't need a website, just have a Bandcamp. So we
Yesterday
are
was
there.
Bandcamp Friday.
And yes, it was. Those are so great. Those
Amazing, huh?
when we released Say Your Better Hurt Than Hollow was from Say Your Piece, the EP we did in 2020, and we had a phenomenal Bandcamp one Friday when it came out.
That's the best.
Oh, it was amazing, the support we had for that.
So We were talking a little bit. That last song we did play from October Sunday was "Better Hurt Than Hollow."
Yeah.
I think I got a little bit of both, but I don't know.
Yes.
So, you want to, oftentimes it's really rare that I'll just go, "Hey, tell me what that song was about," because I think interpretation's probably the best. And
Absolutely.
So, any insight? The words kind of lean my thoughts a direction. So.
Yeah. So, I think it's really a celebration of coming through a really difficult time with somebody, and it felt like they infected you to your very core, and that you weren't yourself, and that now that they're gone, now that the infection is cured, basically, like I think one of the lyrics is your bottle's empty, it's a bitter pill to swallow. It's also a commentary on how you can be hurt and you can sit with that and you can recover from that, but when you get to a space when you're hollow and you are devoid of feeling, usually you start taking that out on others. And so that was kind of the note about like being infected by someone who had a case of the hollows.
Yep.
I guess.
Yep.
So
it's contagious.
I'm like, I'm better hurt than hollow.
Awesome.
So I'll recover from this. Chaos and darkness is like an infection, and I put that away now.
Yeah,
so it was definitely a celebration. I think that's why. Did it begin the album?
I think so.
Doesn't it begin the album? Yeah. So
I can relate with that on a lot of levels. So yeah, it's a vibe I'm getting, and that's good to be able to communicate those kind of feelings through music. And
absolutely,
it helps others as much as yourself.
It's cathartic. I feel like with our last album in Stonecracker, which was the horror show, I feel like there's a story being told from the horror show through the end of Say Your Piece that I'm now done with, and that's why we called it Say Your Piece.
Love it. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Any shout outs you guys got for your peeps?
Okay. More shout outs coming because, like I said, Blair, Scott with Synthentral, thank you for being so kind to us. Eric Gustafson, thank you so much for always being there for me to talk to about gear and production and for directing our music video for Throwing Roses. We will definitely work again in the future, so so much support from him. And the biggest of all shout outs to Tim Guerin.
Tim's a man.
Tim and I have been friends since like probably as long as you and I have been friends.
Apocryphix.
Apocryphix, yes.
I'm sorry, Tim.
Nah, he's good. But without Tim Guerin, he does some amazing things. We send him a song, and then we come back, and our mouths hang open.
That's it.
Because he is 100% producing. Like, he knows where it's good to stop. He knows what other drums to throw in. I just can't say enough amazing things about him.
That's his art.
It is. And I hate to say amazing because that sounds so like anything a lot of people throw around amazing and awesome. I just had this conversation with somebody. But technically, and he is one of the few people in my life that I feel like has my best interest at heart.
That's awesome.
Like he does make a lot of fun of my Texan accent when I sing. That's why Eric's laughing.
That's great.
But
Don't get.
But he does it with. He wants me to be better, and I know he wants me to be better. So I don't like go. He's picking up. You know what I mean? So anybody out there who's worked with Tim Guerin or knows Tim Guerin,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just he is so good at what he does. He is the consummate professional for
that's
sure.
how he gets those repeat customers.
That is how.
Tim Guerin's a god among men. Absolutely.
Yes.
So, well, thank you so much for visiting Discover Texas, Eric and Dana from October Sunday, and
yeah, and thank you, Dave.
thank
Because
you for having us. This is awesome.
like if I need to give shout outs, you've played our videos, you've had us on numerous things. This is just another add to the long pile and 30-year relationship that we've had. So thank you very much for having us today.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad to be able to be doing something like this. I didn't think I would. So
yeah, no, this is fantastic. So best of luck to you and y'all. This is a fun show. Listen.